All right, everyone, let's get started here. I want to welcome you to our 30-minute workshop. My name is Jim Schultens. I'm a systems engineer here at Variphy, and I'll be your host for today's live webinar. We're joined by my good buddy and coworker, Victor Verba, another systems engineer over here at Variphy. How you doing today, Vic?
I am well. How about yourself, Jim?
Awesome. Very good. Couldn't be better.
Excellent.
All right. For today's session, Vic is going to walk us through some of the exciting new features coming out in version 15.1, which is right around the corner. I know the developers have been working hard to get this release out in the field, and we're all excited about some of these features that Vic's going to cover. But first, let's go over the agenda for today's webinar. We're going to kick it off with a quick overview about Variphy and what we do. Then we'll jump into the demo where Vic will demonstrate and showcase the new features of 15.1. After the demo, we'll pause for some Q&A to get your questions answered. During the demo, if you do have any questions, please be sure to ask them in the Q&A panel. And lastly, we will reward one lucky attendee with a $50 Amazon gift card. So hang around to see if you may have won. All right, a little bit about us here at Variphy. We are the preferred analytics and management solution for unified communication analytics. We provide industry-leading dashboard and call reporting for Cisco Unified Communication Manager, Cisco Contact Center Express, Cisco Cubes, plus now Zoom Phone, and the recently released support for Webex Calling Analytics. We support all these platforms alongside a suite of management tools for CUCM, such as remote phone control, macros, change management, and DID management. But today we're going to be focusing on all the new features coming out in our newest release, 15.1. If you have any questions about any of our other features, or if you simply want to take an interest in taking any of our features for a test drive, feel free to message us in the chat panel. All right, one more thing before we turn it over to Vic. Variphy does offer a managed consulting service where our systems engineering team engages with you on a one-on-one basis. We remotely provide consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding, configuration, and system monitoring assistance. This is a service that provides you a dedicated Variphy SE to do all the heavy lifting for you, giving you a completely hands-off experience. For more information, please contact us and we'll be glad to speak to you more in depth about these managed services. All right, let's get off into the wild. Are you ready, Vic? Let me stop sharing here.
Yes, sir. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. And I'm excited to announce we will be putting out 15.1 towards the end of the month. So keep your eyes out for that. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the features coming out in 15.1. So I don't think I'll be able to keep you guys too long today and let you out a little bit early. But we've got some exciting new stuff here and a little bit for everybody. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is something that Jim had mentioned, and that is our Webex Calling. So if you guys are currently running 15.0 or you have Webex Calling, you know that we do support analytics and reporting. Well, with 15.1 coming out at the end of the month, we are also have our dashboards integrated into Webex Calling now. So as we can take a look here, this is a general dashboard based on Webex Calling. You'll see the same functionality that you see throughout our application, the ability to customize and cater these dashboards and widgets to the information that you're looking for. So you'll be able to adjust your search sets the same way you would now with any type of report, adjust your data grouping, how you want to search, adjust your time periods. And again, that comes along with our standard Webex analytics packaging. So dashboards will be out in 15.1. So if you're currently using our reporting analytics for Webex, definitely make sure that you keep an eye out for 15.1 as we will have that available. So one of the other new features that we're going to talk a little bit about here, and I'm not going to go into detail on each one of these features. Keep an eye out for additional webinars where we'll talk about building out certain types of dashboards and things like that. But the next one I'm going to talk a little bit about is something that we had a webinar on a couple of weeks ago, and that is the ability to get those real-time hunt group agent statuses. So what does that mean? That means that we are taking a little bit of what our customers have asked for, and that's trying to get some of those more contact center-esque type metrics out of their hunt groups without having to actually move over to a contact center type platform. And that's going to lead us into these guys that are refreshing right here, and that is looking at our hunt groups. So the idea behind this guy is to let you know how many folks you have available to answer calls on your hunt groups. So this is an exciting new feature that I know we've been working on for quite a while. Again, if you missed that webinar, we go into a little bit more detail. That was a couple weeks ago. That is recorded and out on our website. And in a few weeks, we're going to be doing some additional webinars on really kind of how to build a contact center-esque dashboard, but using your hunt groups. The idea behind these guys is to let you know, one, how many folks are logged into your hunt group and available to take calls, but also how many folks are logged out. This does support multiple hunt groups in a single widget, or these could be broken up into different widgets based on your hunt groups. There's two different models of this. You can either do a user-based hunt group analytics like we saw up at the top here, or you could do a device-based. We understand that a lot of folks don't have specific users tied to their hunt groups. They more rely on devices and device names, nursing station, general phones, operator phones, and things like that, where somebody may just come and sit down at the station. So this does support both the user view as well as a phone view. So this is an exciting new widget, and again, keep an eye out. We'll get into more detail on how to build some of these out and how to best utilize these. But just taking a look down here, you'll see that we've got one that's more based on phones. If you have a user registered to it, that's great. We will produce that first name and or last name. But if you don't, that's not a problem when we're looking at a device-based report here, where we're able to see who's logged in, who's logged out, which phones are registered versus not registered, or even in an unknown status. So this is a super exciting one. So I'm happy to have this out and just kind of delve a little bit more into hunt groups for a lot of our customers that utilize them, because they've been really asking to try to get, again, some of those contact center-esque type metrics out. And this is going to allow them to be able to see who's actually available to take calls and who's not available to take calls in those hunt groups. So super exciting for that one. One more thing while we're on the screen here is another feature that's coming out in our latest release, and that is something that people have been asking for, and that is some additional spacing for our widgets. So we've been able to space horizontally and shrink these columns down so you can fit more on your screen. So by popular demand, we've added the ability to kind of resize these to be able to meet different demands based on size and characters and things like that, and shrink things down. So this was a huge one. A lot of customers have asked for. So again, excited to be able to bring this out and get this out to people so they can kind of shrink those widgets down, get a little bit more on the page than they initially expected. So let me go ahead and save that guy. I'll give you a high level overview of what that looks like. And now you've been able to just vertically space and horizontally space your widgets a little bit better, fit a little bit more on the screen, make it a little bit easier to see. So again, super easy for that guy there. Last but not least is going to be a little bit for our Zoom folks out there. So we had a lot of folks ask us about being able to do some additional grouping based off of the sites being called. So for our Zoom customers out there, we did add some additional grouping options into our Zoom reporting. So previously, when you grouped on site, you weren't necessarily able to break the site down into different facets of your organization. Mainly, when you were grouping on site, you could group on the called number, the called party number, or the device type. In other words, what type of phone was being answered at the site. But people wanted a little bit more, so we listened and we developed. So now with a site-based report, we can now break this down not only by the sites being called by the Zoom organization, but also by the queues being called or the departments being called. So just by selecting queue over there, now what we're going to get is some secondary grouping. And let me go ahead and give this guy a run and show you a little bit of what we got. And let's go ahead and do this. We'll pop this out for the current week. And again, this was something that we had a lot of requests for our existing Zoom customer base, and that was the ability to not only see where those calls were coming in by site, but also be able to see what potential queues or departments are being called within that Zoom organization. So now what we're looking at here are the changes. Here are the sites that we've had grouping for, but now we've also went ahead and added the ability to break those down by the call queues or subsequently the departments to see what departments are being called within your Zoom organization. So those are the few of the major highlights. Keep an eye out because sometimes things do squeak into final releases, so we're always excited to get more in there. But Jim, that's what I got here as far as new releases coming out in 15.1. Excited to get this stuff out. Do we have any questions or anything that we need to answer?
I don't see any, Vic, and I don't see my Q&A panel, but hopefully nothing was put in there. If you do have any questions, you can throw it in chat. I'm not seeing that, but I don't see any questions come in. You did say it was going to be short, and you weren't lying.
I did. Yeah, we've got some new features. You know,
Lots of
again,
good
stay
stuff, though.
tuned. We'll
Yeah.
we'll go more into depth on those features in further webinars and how to utilize those best.
All right, let me take the ball back from you. I still don't see anything coming in. If you do have any questions, if I missed any or technical difficulties here, feel free to just shoot us an email or open a ticket support at
And Jim,
verify.com.
where did our chat panel go, buddy?
I think everything disappeared on us today. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in chat.
Okay. Yeah, and I can't even find the QA panel. So.
All right. Well, we will kind of take over from here. Keep myself organized on my end. All right. Demo's done. Got Q&A out of the way. And I guess now the time that everybody is waiting for, the announce the winner of the Amazon $50 gift card. And the winner is Larry Persing. Congratulations, Larry. We'll be reaching out to you shortly to get you paid. All right, before we wrap things up here, I want to invite you to join us next week where Dre and Mike will be showing us how to create dashboards and widgets for the new Webex Calling platform. With that, I do conclude today's webinar. I want to thank you all for joining us and have a great rest of your week. Thanks all.